So today here at Hardcore Off-Road, we're doing something a little bit different here. We're actually throwing a full long tube header set and full exhaust on this 2019 C7 Corvette. Not something we normally do, but we'll try anything, I guess. Show you a couple things that I learned while doing this. I didn't start a video or anything from the beginning because it wasn't something that we normally cover, but there are a lot of people doing this, so I figured I would just make a quick video. First thing we do, get up on the lift, take your mid pipe out. To do that, there are 4 bolts here that will come apart on these flanges, and there are 2 clamps back here. If you loosen them clamps, take these bolts out, the front will drop down. You can wiggle this mid pipe section out. From there, we gotta take, I don't know what you want to call it, your up pipes, your front pipe that connects to your manifolds out. To do this, there are 4 bolts here. Now these are on top of the front cross member between the control arms. These are kind of hard to get out. They are a pain. They're a 15 millimeter nut on a stud. Once you get them loose, you have to weasel them out of there. I actually had to loosen the headers up before I could get this weaseled out of there. Be careful with your plugs, unplug them. I also had to take the heat shield off, or at least loosen the heat shield up off of the manifold, in order to find room to get it down out of there, and it makes it easier to get to this rear bolt on the manifold. These are a 10 millimeter bolt on here. Your manifold, your header bolts, I guess, were I believe they were a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter, I don't remember. But they're not that hard. It is extremely tight in there. A lot of people actually said that the passenger side is tighter. On this particular one, I had an easier time on the passenger side. What I had to do is, well, obviously the Corvette engine cover's off. I also took the coil cap cover off, which is, I believe there's 2, it's a Torx bit, I believe a T25 or something like that. So there's 2 bolts there. I had to pull the oil dipstick out, obviously, take your coil wires off, and the headers will, or the factory manifolds will weasel out of there. They are tight, but will come out. The new headers we put in are an 1 7/8" primary. I know it's hard to see, there's not much room at all in here, but they're an 1 7/8" primary long tube header, and they will fit up through there. I am waiting for somebody to come here now because I do need somebody under the car to kind of hold up on it so I can get them started. But they slide right up in fairly easily. You may have to pull the heat guard off the starter. If you do that, just be careful. I unhooked the batteries, obviously, to make sure nothing shorted out. But it actually went up in fairly easy. I was really surprised. So as soon as somebody gets here to give me a hand to hold this up, because I don't have enough room up underneath or up inside there to get the bolt started as I'm trying to hold it up. But as soon as somebody helps me with that, we'll get that up in. And I'll show you the rest of the exhaust going on, and it should be a fairly easy project from here on out, I hope anyway. Okay, back on this C7, you can obviously see that we got the headers in here. I figured I'd tell you a few little tricks that I figured out. First thing, if you have any kind of O2 sensors, you want to thread them in to the header if the bung is there. This one happens to have the bungs in the crossover pipe, so we need to remove them out of the old exhaust, put in here. But either way, most time you're going to have an extension, wire extension. Plug that in, tuck your wires, they're probably hard to see, but way up in there. Put the heat shield back on to make sure they don't get burnt. Do that before you put the headers up in, because I wouldn't want to try to do it right now. again, the passenger side went right up in real easy. I just had to have somebody underneath holding up on it because there's not enough room to really get my hand in and hold the manifold up and or the header up and get the bolt started. The driver's side, there's actually more room, but it hit on this steering column here. So what I had to do is I had to pull the spark plugs out, and it gave me enough room to get it up in there. Once it's up in there, there's a lot more room over here. This side was real easy once I got it up past the spark plugs. And then reinstall them, put everything back in. The one thing I will recommend, a ratchet like this, a bent ratchet with a swivel head. This was a lifesaver on it because a straight ratchet was real hard to get into any place. This made it real simple. I could bend it around the cylinder head. It worked about perfect. So now we are going to work our way back from here. Then install that crossover pipe. Then we will be removing the factory mufflers. This is a full race exhaust system, so it has muffler deletes, everything like that. I'll show you here when it's done. So as you can see, got the exhaust completely installed, headers, all that stuff. Really no issues. Not a real complicated job. Everything is tight. The headers, I don't know, I probably have 6 or 7 hours in the header job altogether. And then the exhaust wasn't that bad either. It's a little tighter than we're used to working on, and a little different, but everything worked out really well.